All right, so this is such a tasty and easy dish, and it does not cost a lot of money. And your family and your friends will think you cooked a gourmet meal. I'm telling you, this is a lovely, easy, tasty dish. So, first, you take some thick cut bacon because we're going to brown this and we're going to let the oils get out of the bacon because we're going to need that oil to give the chicken some flavor. So, you put it in a skillet at medium high heat. Don't have it up too high because you don't want it to start burning. Because remember, we're going to be using the oil from the bacon to have all that flavor. Put a splash guard on it so that way you don't make a mess and hey, you don't get burnt either by the hot splashing grease. I'm also going to take some gemstone potatoes, and these are little potatoes, and there are a different variety of potatoes. And I love these because it gives a nice taste to your dish, but it also gives it a really nice look. It gives it that, effort look, like you put some effort into it. And these purple potatoes are so tasty. And these little red ones are tasty. And these little, I think these are russet potatoes. These little russet ones are tasty too. So I'm using some black garlic infused olive oil and I'm putting it on the potatoes. And then I'm also going to take some kosher salt and sprinkle that on there. Then I'm going to take some Italian style herbs and I'm going to put some of that on there because I want it to have some really nice clean flavors. And then I mix it up really, really good. Now, when you're cooking this, make sure you time it accordingly so that way it's all done when everything else is done, the chicken is done. So I'm taking the potatoes, putting them on a baking sheet. I'm going to bake them in the oven at 365 degrees for about 35 minutes or until they're done. Now back to the bacon. The bacon has come along pretty well, and I have my oils in there, and I'm putting the bacon to the side, and I'm going to use some of the bacon oil, and I'm going to brown the chicken thighs. So skin down in the skillet, medium high heat, and we're going to give a nice color to the chicken, and it's also going to give it some amazing flavor because that bacon grease combined with the chicken grease that's being released, or the chicken oils, whatever you want to call it, it's going to have a nice flavor profile. All right, so I'm not going to bore you by showing you all of the chicken that I'm browning, but you get the point right here. I'm pretty much browning the chicken and putting them to the side. All right, so now that we have the chicken brown, we're going to take some onions, and this is about half of a large onion chopped up, and I'm going to put it in the skillet with the oil. We're not wasting any of the oil. And we're going to brown up the onions a little bit or saute them until they're almost transparent. And then we're going to add some sliced mushrooms. These are portobello mushrooms. And then I'm going to take some Marsala wine. Now, Marsala wine, you can get it for about $7 or $8 at your local grocery store or liquor store. And I'm going to pour about a half a cup in there. I want the mushrooms and the onions to take in that flavor of the Marsala. And then I'm going to add 2 cups of milk. Now look at this. I did not let the Marsala wine cook down. Just keep that in mind. You don't have to cook it down. So I added the 2 cups of milk. Now I'm using the Wandra Gold flour. That's right. This is an all-purpose mixing flour, and it's really, really fine, and it makes your gravy and your sauces come out really, really smooth. Now, if you don't have this, you can go and buy yourself some cornstarch, or you can get yourself some flour. Flour most likely will leave lumps in there. Just be aware of that. All right, after that, I'm going to add the bacon. The bacon is going to give this some really, really good flavor, and I'm going to mix it in there really, really well. Now, I'm not going to wait for it to get thick just yet. I'm going to add some thyme, and I'm also going to add some oregano. Now, I wonder about the word oregano. I say oregano, some people call it different, but we're going to add some thyme and oregano, and now you can see that the sauce, aka gravy, is thickening up. So I'm going to take that off the stove and set it to the side. Now I'm going to take a deep pot or pan. It looks like a skillet, but it's a little bit deeper because it's going to hold the chicken and the sauce. So I'm going to take the browned chicken, I'm going to take the sauce that I just made, and I'm going to pour it all over the chicken. Look at this. This looks amazing. It smells amazing. It's going to be an amazing dish. So I take some kosher salt, and then I take some black pepper, grind it up in there real good. You do this to taste. And then I'm going to put the lid on it, and I'm going to put it in the oven at 365 degrees until the chicken is done. This will probably take about 35 minutes. Just keep an eye on the chicken, and if you have a thermometer, put that in the chicken to test and make sure that it's done. Now, there we go. Here's the result of what happens. This is beautiful. Now, you've noticed that the gravy, the sauce has broken down because of the fats. So what I'm doing is taking the chicken thighs out of the pot, and I'm going to put those to the side. I'm going to take some bouillon, and this is vegetable, so it's going to give it another layer of flavor. I'm going to put some of that in there to give this some flavor. And I'm going to mix it in really, really good because remember, this pot is hot, so it's going to break down. Now I'm going to take some more Wondra flour and I'm going to mix it in there. And as you see, it's thickening back up. Now, when you do this, make sure you are ready to serve, okay? Because you don't want the sauce, aka gravy, to break down. And the way that you test that it's done is you run your finger down the back of a spoon, and if it looks like this, then it's done. It's just that simple. Now it's time to make a plate. Put that chicken in a nice plate, however you want to do it. You take those potatoes, you put those around there, and then you take some of that sauce, aka gravy, and you pour that on top of there as well, and it's going to come out looking delicious. And you also take some mushrooms and put those on the side of it as well, because these babies are tasty by themselves. That's it. So go cook some. Bye.